The burger joint near Naval Base San Diego was a local institution serving hungry sailors for 30 years. Behind the grill stood an old man, maybe 75, wearing a grease-stained apron and a faded baseball cap, flipping burgers with practiced efficiency. His weathered hands moved quickly despite his age, assembling orders with the precision of someone who'd done this job for years. A group of 5 Navy SEALs walked in, their conversation loud with the confidence of warriors fresh from a successful training evolution. Lieutenant Jake Morrison, Petty Officer Marcus Chun, and their teammates were among the elite, and they carried themselves accordingly. They just finished Hell Week qualification exercises, and their sense of accomplishment filled the small restaurant. If you're wondering where this story leads, hit that like button and comment if you think legends sometimes hide in plain sight. Check out Grandpa on the Grill, one of them said, not quite quietly enough. That's probably what happens when you can't hack it in the real Navy. End up flipping burgers outside the base. The others chuckled, their youth and arrogance making them blind to the possibility that the old man might have his own story. The old man glanced up briefly, making eye contact with Morrison, but said nothing. He simply continued working, serving customers with quiet dignity. 20 minutes later, the restaurant door opened and Commander Sarah Walsh entered. She was the executive officer of SEAL Team 5, a respected leader who'd earned her position through competence and courage. She saw the old man behind the grill and her face lit up. "Master Chief," she called out, walking directly to the counter. "I didn't know you were working today. How are you, sir?" The old man smiled warmly. "Commander Walsh, good to see you." "I'm doing fine. Just keeping busy." Walsh turned to the dining area and raised her voice. "For those of you who don't know, this man is Master Chief Petty Officer Daniel Ghost Reeves, retired. One of the most legendary operators in SEAL history. Now, before we continue, if this story has you captivated, please subscribe and turn on notifications. What happens next will leave these young sailors speechless. The SEALs at their table froze. Morrison's burger stopped halfway to his mouth. Chung's face went pale. Ghost was a call sign that carried weight in the SEAL community, spoken with reverence. Ghost Reeves had served in Vietnam, Grenada, Panama, and the First Gulf War. He conducted operations that remained classified decades later, had trained multiple generations of SEALs, and had earned nearly every combat decoration the nation could bestow. Commander Walsh continued, addressing the restaurant. Master Chief Reeves served for 32 years in naval special warfare. He has 3 Navy Crosses, 6 Silver Stars, and more combat deployments than most of us will ever see. He pioneered many of the direct action tactics we still use today. He's also humble enough to flip burgers part-time because he likes staying connected to the community. The old man waved his hand dismissively. "Commander, you're embarrassing me. I'm just trying to stay useful." But Walsh looked directly at the table of young SEALs, having clearly overheard their earlier comments. "I hope everyone here understands that service takes many forms. The Master Chief has given everything to this country, and if he chooses to spend his retirement flipping burgers, that's his right." Morrison stood slowly, his face burning with shame. He approached the counter. "Master Chief Reeves, sir, I apologize. I had no idea. The comments I made were disrespectful and ignorant." Ghost looked at him for a long moment, then smiled slightly. "Son, how are you supposed to know? I'm just an old man in an apron. But let me tell you something about assumptions." He came around the counter. Despite his age, his bearing was still that of a warrior. "I started this job 3 years ago after my wife died. Sitting at home alone wasn't doing me any good. So I found this place close to the base where I could hear young sailors talking about their lives, their deployments. It keeps me connected to the world I spent 3 decades in." Ghost pulled up his sleeve, revealing a full trident tattoo along with several other military insignias. "This trident represents 28 years as a SEAL operator. These other symbols represent things I still can't talk about. But this job? This represents me choosing to serve in a different way. I feed warriors. I listen to their stories. And occasionally, I meet young SEALs who need to learn that not everything is what it appears to be. Sean and the others had joined Morrison at the counter, all standing at attention now. Ghost continued, his voice taking on instructor's tone. You boys just finished Hell Week. Congratulations. You're proud. You should be. But pride without humility is dangerous. You looked at an old man flipping burgers and saw failure. You made an assumption based on incomplete information, and that's exactly the kind of thinking that gets people killed on operations. He pointed to a photograph on the wall showing a much younger version of himself in combat gear, standing with a SEAL team. Next to him was a younger Admiral William McRaven. That photo was taken in Panama, 1989. The Admiral and I served together for years. Some of the tactics your generation uses, we developed them through missions that went right and missions that went catastrophically wrong. Morrison asked quietly, Sir, why didn't you say something when we made those comments? Ghost smiled. Because the best lessons are the ones you learn yourself. If I told you who I was, you'd have been embarrassed, but you wouldn't have learned anything. But now, having made assumptions and been proven wrong, you'll remember this. You'll think twice before judging someone by their current circumstances. Commander Walsh checked her watch. Master Chief, I need to get back to base, but I wanted to invite you to our next unit ceremony. We're presenting tridents to a new class of graduates, and it would mean a lot if you participate. Ghost nodded. I'd be honored, Commander. These young warriors need to hear from those who came before. After Walsh left, the 5 SEALs remained at the counter, asking questions, listening to stories, learning from a living legend. Ghost told them about operations in the Mekong Delta, about missions where luck mattered more than skill. Chun asked, the call sign Ghost, how did you earn it? Ghost's expression grew distant. Vietnam, 1970, my team was compromised deep in enemy territory. We spent 6 days evading capture, moving only at night. We were so good at disappearing that the Viet Cong started calling us ghosts. When we finally made it to extraction, our own people almost didn't recognize us. The name stuck. Morrison asked, Sir, with your background, you could be doing anything. Why flip burgers? Ghost's answer was simple, because this is where I want to be. I've had enough glory, enough attention. Now I want to serve quietly, to be useful without being celebrated. I get to feed young warriors, hear their stories, and occasionally teach lessons to cocky SEALs who need them. That's enough for me. Over the following months, the burger joint became more than just a restaurant. It became a place where young SEALs came not just for food but for wisdom, where Ghost held court behind the grill, answering questions, sharing stories, teaching lessons that couldn't be found in any manual. Word spread through the SEAL community, and it became tradition for new graduates to visit, to meet the legend, to understand that true greatness often chooses humility over fame.